Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kevin Odur, and this afternoon I want us to head to Ukambani. And I want to say that immediately Musalia Mudavadi formed an alliance with William Ruto, Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta camp ought to have picked their calls. Someone ought to have called Kalonzo to make sure that they seal a deal. We know that Gideon Moi have a soft spot for Raila Odinga and for Azimio, and I think for KANU it is just a matter of time. But Kalonzo Musyoka have a yoke in his neck, and the yoke is Jimmy Wanjigi. Jimmy Wanjigi has a very bad relationship with Raila Odinga after the 2017 general election, and he is determined to block Raila Odinga presidency. And as I have always maintained in this channel, that Jimmy Wanjigi's script is to ensure that Kalonzo Musyoka forms forms that One Kenya Alliance and gets the ticket and goes to the ballot with a feeling that even though he cannot win, but he's going to force a rerun. At the rerun, then the Kalonzo Musyoka votes will be at disposal to the best bidder, the highest bidder. That is the script. So today, they have held a rally in Kitui Stadium, and that rally have been attended by Jimmy Wanjigi and Gideon Moi. And let me ask another question. Apart from Ukambani, where else can Kalonzo Musyoka go and campaign? Even if he is to go with Jimmy as the presidential running mate. He recently met Jimmy Wanjigi in Karen, and they opined that they are working on a political formation in ways just to make sure that they strengthen One Kenya Alliance. Now, in this video, I want to first analyze the best way or what Raila Odinga can do to entice Kalonzo Musyoka back on his side. The reason why I'm saying that is because categorically, Raila Odinga needs Kalonzo Musyoka to make sure that he maintains the 6 million vote strong. That was in 2013 and 2017. 2017, they had a good formula because they had Mudavadi. But now without Mudavadi, Raila Odinga's votes, he must now go back to the drawing board of 2013. Being also that Mudavadi, this time round, is going to support William Ruto. In 2013, he was standing alone. So just the political formula that they have. Jimmy Wanjigi, I listened to his speech when he was talking in Kitui, and I want you to listen to this part. If you listen to Jimmy Wanjigi, he's very specific that he has the best formula. He had the best formula, and they won the 2017 general election. So even though now the dynamics have changed and Raila is struggling to climb the mountain, the three Ukambani counties of Machakos, Makueni, and Kitui are going to be the key deciders on Raila Odinga winning. I'm not saying that he cannot win without Kalonzo, but without Kalonzo, the chances of clinching the 50+1 vote in round one are slim. And without that, if the electioneering period is elongated to a rerun, then I can tell you things can change. Then Kalonzo can even support William Ruto, because at that moment, someone can even now use money to make sure that Kalonzo Musyoka is lured back. So that is my first clarion call. Guys, if you're new to this channel, take a second and subscribe. Now, in previous video, I analyzed on 20 minutes power sharing deal on William Ruto and Mudavadi agreement, and you can watch the video here. Now, here I'll try very much to be brief and try to go straight to what I think Raila Odinga should do. Guys, this is what I'm thinking first. What Raila Odinga ought to know is that if Kalonzo Musyoka is on the ballot, then things are complicated for him. Don't lie. Even if you can go and try to climb the mountain, the more you can get in the mountain, let's talk over 40%. And if William Ruto takes the majority from the mountain, from central Kenya, and with the traditional Kalenjin support, arithmetically, Raila Odinga will be in trouble. So one thing that he needs to do is to take these Ukambani governors, so that these Ukambani governors, all of them have their political parties. Let them try to come close to Kalonzo Musyoka and form an alliance that can be at least confined to Ukambani. Alfred Mutua have Maendeleo Chap Chap. Charity Ngilu have NAC. The Makueni governor, Kivutha Kibwana, have Maendeleo, is it Maendeleo Development Party, something. Muungano Development. So these parties, they can form one alliance with Wiper. Then they just make an alliance, a coalition that is really pushing for the interest of the Ukambani vote. So if Raila can really push these governors that are really supporting him and tell them, you go back and form a coalition with Kalonzo, try to bring Kalonzo on board and form a coalition with Kalonzo, then it is at that moment that at the right time, these governors now, they can now subdue Kalonzo and tell Kalonzo, because we have our interests and the best way to safeguard our interests is to head to Raila Odinga. That can be a good strategy. And remember, Charity Ngilu is one of the members of Raila Odinga's presidential team. And she's been trying to convince Kalonzo Musyoka to come back and support Raila Odinga. So if Raila team can hatch that, I think that can really work well. Secondly, Kalonzo Musyoka have Jim Wanjigi around him. Jim Wanjigi, their project is just to spoil, is just to destroy. I don't think they can win. They cannot win. So what also the Azimio team can do to entice Kalonzo back, if the best thing, they can also try to give him the Nairobi gubernatorial seat. Because if they can give Wiper 10, Wiper, you come, a Nairobi governor seat we are giving you. That is strategically to make sure that he can go and now tell Wanjigi, let's go to Azimio, then you vie for Nairobi governor seat. Because that one he can easily clinch. I know he has not mentioned that he's interested in it, but I'm just trying to speculate some of the things that Raila, some of the goodies that are around Raila, that Raila can use to try to woo back Kalonzo Musyoka. Now, thirdly, how about is the crumble and post-election agreement, so that if Raila either gives Kalonzo the running mate or a powerful minister's post after the general election. Because it is now true that Raila Odinga's running mate, they are determined to pick from the central Kenya. Because he's actually, politics is being managed from central Kenya. So if he's going to pick the running mate from central Kenya, then he needs to entice back Kalonzo by a good deal. And this can easily be negotiated with really people like President Uhuru Kenyatta. So that mediation, Uhuru Kenyatta to mediate that agreement and bring Kalonzo on board with a powerful minister's post, if indeed he can pick that. And I think also that might also not be good for him, because in 2013, Jim Wanjigi tried to bring Kalonzo to work with Uhuru Ruto, and he promised Kalonzo to give him, I think probably it was Speaker of the Senate, and he refused. Remember, he's a very senior politician. They can find a way, or if Kalonzo can agree, Raila goes the one term, then in the next government, even if he doesn't get the presidency, but he appears in the top 2 seat, either the running mate or the presidential candidate for the Azimio. I think that is a long shot. But again, those are some of the things that I think Raila Odinga team can try to crumble with and really find a solution to get Kalonzo Musyoka back on board. Now, thirdly, I was thinking that Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga can approach Jimmy Wanjigi and reconcile the two of them. Because the truth of the matter here is, Jimmy Wanjigi is the person that can easily convince. I think if he tells him to, let's come back and support Raila, then Kalonzo Musyoka will not blink. I think he will be fixed. He has mentioned that Jimmy fixed him in 2013, Jimmy fixed him in 2017. Then if that is the thing, and Jimmy Wanjigi is his best friend, Uhuru and Raila needs to approach Jimmy Wanjigi and maybe find a way they can get a deal, reconcile, because politics is about this interest. They reconcile, they team up together, then they cannot deliver Raila Odinga presidency. I don't think much is casted on the stone. Even if it is possible, then they just make sure that they work with the whole team. Lastly, I think this is the script that this is the experiment that was tried in Western after Raila Odinga knew that Mudavadi was not going to support him. So it was actually alleged that Raila and Uhuru planted these DAP parties to rival ANC and Ford Kenya in Western, so that in the event that these other parties may not support Azimio, I think they will find parties from Western Kenya that can work with Azimio. Now, that has also worked in Ukambani, because the three governors are with Raila Odinga. But I think it can go more beyond if the Azimio team can try to bring closer these members of parliament, especially these members of parliament, the Senate, and these other positions in Ukambani, to bring them back to Azimio, in one condition, that ODM, Jubilee, and these other parties are not going to field candidates in those areas. So that I think Kalonzo Musyoka really enjoys the Ukambani vote basket.